Yo. New update. Probably a shorter video because the new update does not have much in it. And I've again done you the liberty of downloading it beforehand, so we can just literally get right into it. Maintenance comp and delay, sure. Love to see it. 1300 for my gacha. Oh, it's not a seasonal ID. Alright, neat. Yeah, let's just get right in. Alright. Very cool, very neat. If target is 3+ burn, coin power +1, 4+3 by 2. Very nice. That's, again, like I said in my review, Liu IDs tend to not have good coin power. So 4+3 by 2 is literally average. I was expecting worse, honestly. I was expecting worse, I think. Let's see. Oh my god, bro, please. Okay. Let's see what Liu Gregor's skill 1 is. Yeah, 4+2 by 2 is what his is. So his is well below average. 8 is like really pretty miserable. I don't remember what Hong Lu's is because again, I do not have him uptied. But I remember his coins are pretty favorable for a Liu ID. And then what is Meursault's? 3+4 by 2. So his is also pretty decent. So, you know, this is pretty good. Love to see this. 3+ burn, obviously you don't need me to tell you that that's piss easy for a burn team. So, you know, that's extremely free. Then frontal assault, 4+4 by 3. Oh my god, bro. 16? Damn! What the hell? I was remember in my video when I was like, dude, I'm expecting this to be like +2? Dude, what the fuck? That's crazy. That is crazy. Oh my god. Wait, that is nuts. Target a 6+ burn, coin power +1. 6+ is also not super difficult to achieve. It looks like she doesn't apply that much burn on her own, though. Probably because it's balanced around Ardor. The Ardor passive, which also inflicts a ton of burn, so I would not be surprised if her burn numbers were still okay, but her kit itself does not inflict that much burn. If target is 6+ burn, inflict +2 count. Again, not super difficult to accomplish, and +2 count is very nice. I was expecting this to be like +1 count. To be honest, but +2 is good because this basically sets you up for almost the rest of the fight. It seems like. And then skill 3. I mean, like, if the coins, it was 4 coins, dude. If the coins are like +3 each, like at the rate we're going, like I was expecting these to be like +3, maybe +2. It depends on what the base power was, but I was hovering around like +2 for these, +2 for these. They doubled it. Take it or leave it, I guess. My bad. And then skill 3 has 4 coins. I'm also expecting it to be like +2. If they go +3, I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Actually, if it's +3, holy shit. I mean, like, what is this? This is I can cook anything numbers, isn't it? 3 plus 3 by 4. Yeah, I mean it's identically plus I can cook anything numbers. 6+ burn and count deal 30% bonus damage. 6 count is a little hard to achieve though. You probably would want Liu Hong Lu in order to achieve that. I'm just trying to think. Her skill 2 can inflict a fair amount of count. But like the 6+ burn count is pretty difficult to achieve, especially earlier on into a fight. Like, I don't know. Hold on. Let's read the rest of this. Gain +1. Yeah, okay. +2 burn count and a little bit of burn. I mean, like, she has some insane... I mean, this is just, like, better than Reindeer? Am I crazy? Or is it just, like, she's a full blunt ID, but her numbers are just better than Reindeer? like, actually? That seems nuts. This seems really, really good, actually. And then what's defense skill? +1 burn count? Yeah, okay. 9 + 7 for a counter. That's actually above average, I think, for power. I mean, who fucking cares, honestly, for a counter. But, hey, it's not bad. And then passive is extremely important also, obviously, to know. Max 30%. Every 3 burn count on the target. And it's on resonance. I don't think it's... I mean, personally, I'm probably not going to be playing around that, honestly. 3 burn... Every 3 on the target? Generally, you're only going to have, like, anywhere from, like, 3 to 5 is generally where you're going to be. So, like, getting 6 count on a target in order to get just 20% damage on resonance is really rough. It's, like, really, really tough, I think. I don't know if... This passive, in my opinion, personally, just, like, my gut feeling is I would not want to play around it. If it comes up as bonus damage, then sure, that's neat. But, like, that is you kind of have to bend over backwards to get 9 burn count on a target. Like, that is an absurd amount of burn count. So, I don't know. Intense Blaze 6 owned. Ally with the lowest speed deals plus 5% for every 3 burn count on target. Again, I mean, it's on own, so it's a little better. But, like, the thing is, like, the reason this is awkward is because, let's split stages generally into 2 categories, right? There's stages where you don't want burn, and there's stages where you might, you know, you would want to take burn, or you might want to take burn, right? The stages that you would not want burn, she would be on the bench, right? She would be on the bench. But, by proxy, so would all of the other burn IDs, right? Like, all the other burn IDs would also be on the bench. So you're just never getting, like, burn count on the target, so this passive gets no value in that situation, right? Because if you don't want burn in a stage, then they're not getting burn count, right? It's kind of that simple. So her passive is going to be useless there. And then if you do want burn on a stage, or if it's like, you know, a blunt stage, but she gets, like, you know, you're running a burn engine in your blunt team comp, right? And you want, like, some burn damage, you would bring her into the stage, obviously. And, like, if she's in the stage, her support passive is not active, right? So, like, I don't think this would ever come up. Genuinely. I don't think this would literally ever come up. Like, I could not see a situation where this would ever be useful, ever. But, I mean... I don't know. I mean, this seems like a really... obviously, this is the main payoff for having burn. It seems like... Ishmael just seems like the burn sinner. Like, the payoff for having a lot of burn. Because 30% damage bonus is no slouch on a skill that has... What is the total base power of this skill? It's like 6 plus 9, so 15. 15 plus 12, so 27 plus 15 is 42. Like, this is a base power total 42, which is really, really strong. If we're considering, like, plus 30% damage on this thing as well, like, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty damn good. The problem is getting plus 6, like, 6 plus burn count is really rough, unless you're running exactly Liu Honglu. Because Liu Honglu is, like, the most, pretty much, he's, like, the burn count turbo, of the burn setup, basically. So he's, like, basically mandatory if you want to activate this. Hold on, let me just see. You know what, I'll spend 10 thread just for the sake of the demonstration. I'll spend 10 thread just to see it. Yeah, okay, so he is the main payoff for it because his look, his skill 2 on its own, second coin, inflicts again, like, terrible coin power, like coin values on his skill 2, by the way. His skill 1 is passable, but his skill 2, again, the Liu trademark terrible coin values. But yeah, if you can see on the second coin, inflict 1 burn count. At good sanity, inflict 1 more. At max sanity, inflict 2 more. So his skill 2 on its own inflicts 4 burn count, which is pretty much the most you'll get on a single skill for the most part. And I mean, it's good because it's a skill 2, so you get 2 of them per full deck rotation, which is pretty good. But I mean, like I don't know if you would want to run him though. Like the thing is, that's a lot of commitment for a burn squad, right? Like again, when I'm talking about like engines, it's kind of like in a card game, like an engine, or a core. It's like when you take like when there's a whole theme of a deck, right? And you want to take only like the good card, like the skeleton crew of that archetype, right? Like you want to take the bare minimum of the best parts of that archetype and trim out like all of the filler stuff, and just have the bare minimum to make it work, so that you can splash it into your deck or whatever, right? So when we're talking about like Tremor, what I would consider like the Tremor core, like bare minimum you need is like LCCB, is like the Tremor supplier, because she obviously applies a ton of it. And then Rose Banner Rogia is like the payoff for Tremor in general, because she obviously bursts Tremor like multiple times, and then deals a very hefty amount of damage on the last coin especially. 25% bonus true damage is pretty damn good. Great payoff for Tremor because she bursts it multiple times after inflicting a ton of it. So, and then obviously you just you have her Cloud Cutter skill too, basically. So it also bursts Tremor. So she is like the main Tremor payoff. So this is like the Tremor core, right? This is like the Tremor core. You could also bring in Meursault if you wanted like an expanded Tremor engine. On your team, in your team comp, like your what's it called, your lineup, I guess. It's like, you know, it's optional, but he does do a pretty okay job in bursting Tremor. But if I were to choose between bursting Tremor with Meursault and bursting Tremor with Rogia, I would probably just want to burst Tremor with Rogia because it does more damage. And she bursts it multiple times. I'm pretty sure Meursault nukes your stack in a similar way to Rogia. Yeah, reduce count by 3, so he nukes your stack similarly to Rogia does, but he doesn't do extra damage. He just raises the threshold even further, which is fine, because the whole point of Tremor is obviously to raise the threshold, but damage is king. If it doesn't do damage, then it's like optional to me. So, you know, it like that's what I would consider a Tremor core, just for example, right? So talking about the burn core, the skeleton crew of like the burn engine in this game, I feel like is just like it would be like Liu Ishmael, because she's the main payoff because of her egos, as well, especially. I only have Capote level 1, but I could, you know, we could uptie that. And Ardor is obviously insanely good, mostly because of the passive, gives an insane amount of burn, and then, you know, it also inflicts some burn up front, but it's not like fantastic. It's mostly for the upfront damage of the passive is what you use this for. But you know, that's like a payoff, and then I don't remember exactly what her Capote does. I don't want to uptie it right now, even though I eventually will be. But her Capote passive is super strong, right? Especially because the Liu Ishmael has a skill too, which is going to be her bread and butter. So, I mean, like she's pretty much the Rose Banner Rogia payoff for burn, and then splashable engine, I'd say Gregor, because we don't really have any better options, and he's just good. And then also Meursault, which I don't have. I'll probably have to dispense him, honestly. Like, it's kind of frustrating. But Liu, Meursault, like, if I were to say burn core, like, those are the 3 I would bring in a burn core, right? I would bring Liu Ishmael, Liu Meursault, and Liu Gregor, right? As the bare minimum burn engine that I would want to bring. Because for a couple of reasons. The first one is because Meursault inflicts hefty burn count already. On skill 3, he inflicts 3 just for free, essentially. I think that's the only burn count he has in his kit. Besides that, his Capote ego obviously inflicts burn count, but it's like, not stellar, it's just fine. So, you know, I would, and also Meursault's not doing anything else. Like, none of his other IDs are highly in demand, so he's flexible. Same with Gregor. Like, Gregor's not doing anything else either, so you can just safely bring both of them, I think, as Liu IDs for a burn core. The problem is, Hong Lu is not as replaceable as those two, because they don't have, like, Meursault and Gregor don't have much competition on their IDs. Like, the only other Meursault ID you would be considering reasonably is, like, Rose Spanner, if you want to make an extended Tremor core. And then, like, Gregor does not have much competition either. Like, you could use G-Corp. He's fine. Like, don't get me wrong, he's fine. But I think Liu is just, like, you don't lose that much for bringing Liu over G-Corp. And there's a lot to be gained. There's a lot to be gained by using Liu over G-Corp. And you don't lose that much. The only thing you lose is, like, his passive is the main thing you lose, like the healing. And then, like, you know, he's kind of drain tanky in battle, but again, like, I don't really favor tanks personally in my playstyle, for a couple of reasons. But you know, he's not, like, so high in demand that you can't switch onto Liu, right? The difference is Kurakumo and Ting Tang are so, like, high in demand that it would be uncomfortable at the very least to swap to Liu, which is unfortunate because Liu is obviously, like I said, extremely good at applying burn count, which is, you know, again, the main problem with the new Ishmael, because you can't really get a lot of burn count easily outside of his skill 2. Because Meursault's skill 3 inflicts +3 burn count, but it's a skill 3, right? And then I don't even know, I think Gregor might inflict some, but it's like +2 burn count or something, I think. It's like not that much. I don't even know if he does. He literally does not. My bad. He actually does not. He inflicts a significant amount of burn, so he can get your stack up really high. But he actually has no burn count application at all. So, you know, it is what it is. So, I mean, it's a little uncomfortable. It's a little uncomfortable, I think, because Hong Lu is just a very, very contested spot right now. He has, as far as I can tell, again, this is all assuming that in execution, burn is going to be important enough to bring Liu Ishmael over LCCB in the first place, because like I detailed earlier, LCCB is part of, like, my quote-unquote mandatory Tremor core, and we know that Tremor is at the very least going to be present in Railway, probably, because of the robots, right? The Technology Liberation Alliance robots, at the very least, are going to show up. We can basically guarantee that. And their only, like, tangible weakness is Tremor. So there's going to be value in Tremor. We don't know if there's going to be actual value in Burn. So until we see that, I still don't know if it's worth bending over backwards to, like, you have to give up a lot to run a Liu engine. Because you would have to give up LCCB, who is, like, the best Tremor application, and 5 Fragile on a stick, which is, you know, a bummer to give up. And then you'd also have to give up either one of these for Liu, in order to really make the burn engine pop. I feel like you could run it without it. I don't know. We'll test it. But it's like, I don't. It seems kind of awkward. Again, it's still meta dependent. Like, a lot of the other IDs kind of function mostly on their own, like, independently. So I can kind of tell, like, on paper. If they're going to be good or not, especially once we have numbers. Usually I can just tell if they're going to be good or not instantly. But Ishmael's slot is very, very highly contested because LCCB is just that good. And Ting Tang's slot, Hong Lu's slot is also highly contested because he has Kurakumo and Ting Tang. So this is going to be, like, very, very meta dependent. And, like, we're gonna have to see what Railway has in order for me to even, like, to actually tell 100% if she's good or not, because it really depends on if LCCB ends up not being useful enough over Liu, and then if either of these end up not being good enough. And for some reason, like, burn is so important to stack that you would want to bring Liu Honglu just for burn stacking, which it seems very unlikely, to be honest. And even then, there's also the option to just not play around the 30% extra damage. It's just a bonus. Besides that, it does fine damage on its own, obviously. So, besides the 30% damage, you could just run, and probably what I will run, because it's the least awkward, is like Liu Ishmael, Meursault, and Gregor, maybe. As like the mandatory burn core, because again, Liu Honglu is just an extender. He has better things to be doing than stacking burn, probably. Like, we have to think to ourselves, like, is the 30% damage on her skill 3 worth basically like bricking Honglu? Like, is that 30% damage worth more than 2 Cloud Cutters, right? Is that 30% damage worth more than Cloud Cutter? Is that 30% damage worth more than Shank? Potentially Mutilate. Mutilate is more dependent on stage than Shank is. Shank just gets value almost all the time, especially on Abno fights. Mutilate's a little bit more finicky, but it can, on stages where it works, it really works. So, like, is it worth more than Cloud Cutter? Like, is that 30% damage on her skill 3 worth more than Cloud Cutter? Is it worth more than Shank, Mutilate, and Gambit? Like, probably not, is my guess. And is it worth more than an insane amount of Tremor and an insane amount of Rupture and Fragile? Like, I don't know. Because, again, it's very meta-dependent. I'd say, you know, I'll still keep her at around a 7. She requires a lot of testing, and we need to see, like, we need to see if, what Railway has. Like, we need to see if burn is actually important, because otherwise she's just kind of like a filler blunt damage dealer. If burn does not end up being the most relevant thing, she's just another generic blunt damage dealer, which LCCB can kind of fill in, because she does blunt damage. Not a lot of blunt damage, but she does, like, non-zero amounts of blunt damage, and the 5 Fragile makes all of your other blunt damage dealers deal more damage, right? So, like, effectively, she will probably be doing more damage than Liu, just because of the value her debuffs bring. So, it really depends. But I'm gonna say, like, for now, is it a yay or a nay? I'd say tentatively, it's probably pretty good. Her coins for a Liu ID are nuts, especially her skill 2 has unprecedentedly great coin power, which is extremely exciting for a Liu ID, because this is, like, nuts. Like, 16 base is, like, turbo good, bro. Plus, you can get extra coin power, but that's like overkill. Like, you don't even need it, honestly. But 6+ burn is very easy to achieve if you run a burn core of Liu Ishmael, Gregor, and Meursault. This is very easy to achieve. Meursault will help you stack your count. Gregor will help you stack your potency, and she'll just capitalize on top of it with the payoffs from her skill 1 and skill 2. Skill 3 payoff is not exactly the most, like, it's not the most practical thing most of the time, I feel like, but maybe I'll be wrong. Otherwise, her speed 3 to 6, health is, like, you know, whatever. She's on the chunkier side for HP, which is appreciated. And speed is 3 to 6, which is average. It's not, like, stellar. Obviously, it's literally smack dab average, which is fine. Don't really care about her speed that much. Actually, I'm pretty sure Liu Meursault's passive applies to slowest ally. Yes, one ally with lowest speed inflicts 1 burn, so I guess that could come up, but, you know, it's like, it's okay. As long as her speed is not below average, it's fine. But, you know, average, it's been a while since we've gotten an average speed ID, so it makes sense. Anyways, time to gamble, as you know. How many tickets do I have? 5? Alright, we're just gambling. Hopefully I can get Liu Meursault so I don't have to dispense him, because that would be horribly tragic. It's actually crazy how I don't have all of the 2 stars in the game. I've been playing since launch, and it's actually phenomenal how I don't have all of them. Surprise gold. Cool. Alright, dude. Nice.
저를 부르셨나요?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
네, 무슨 일이죠?
You know me. I like my screenshots. I don't know which one I'll use for the thumbnail. Just for trivia, by the way, the dumpling that she's eating, if you don't know, it's a Chinese dish called Xiaolong Bao. Very delicious. It means little dragon dumpling. It's basically a soup dumpling, in case you don't know. It's a little bun that it's a bun that has soup inside of it along with the meat. So when you bite into it, the soup kind of leaks out. That's why you got to eat it with like the soup spoon. And that's why it's called like Xiaolong Bao, little dragon bun, because when you pop it into your mouth, it burns like a motherfucker because the soup is super hot, right? So it's really, really damn good. If you haven't had it, like, just go to like a soup dumpling restaurant, and like, dude, oh my god, like, it's pretty damn good. So, you know, I'm very envious of her there. Let's see what we've got here. Have some blank on the way back. Dude, it better be soup dumpling. Beef noodles? Oh, fuck you. Anyways, I think that'll do it. Probably a shorter one if I had to guess. Definitely, yeah, definitely a shorter video compared to my other ones. It's still kind of long. But there's just not really much to talk about for now, because there's not really that much content. This patch literally just added one ID. And then patch notes saying that the rest of the patch was delayed. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like I could genuinely stream tomorrow. I could stream tomorrow and testing the ID. Like I could honestly, I might do that because Mirror Dungeon opened up again with 3, so I honestly might stream tomorrow. Genuinely, I think I probably will actually. Now that I think about it, because I want to test. I want to test what like the. I want to test the different burn cores, like how effective the different burn cores are. I want to test like how much of a difference Hong Lu makes in a burn team in execution. I want to test like how worth building around her skill 3 is and stuff. Like I want to test a lot of stuff with this because this is really, really important for the meta if we're switching off of LCCB, because LCCB value, like the value she provides to the team in the meta is really, really, really high. So swapping off of her is like, you might think I'm exaggerating, but like switching off of LCCB is almost like as meta changing as switching off of like Gripper Faust, or like switching off. It's not like switching off of W Dawn or Rabbit, like those are meta staples, but it's like switching off of Gripper Faust, or like switching off of like Chef Ryoshu onto like 7th section or something. Like it's really, really important to know how valuable this could possibly be, and that requires a lot of testing. So I think tomorrow I'm going to be streaming, I think, just to test it, because this is really, really important if we're switching off of this to this. Because, you know, and then I also want to see if we're switching off of, you know, Ting Tang or Kurakumo onto Liu, if that helps it enough to make it worth it, which I doubt, but you can only find out by testing, right? You can only find out for sure anyway. But I guess I'll stream tomorrow. Mirror Dungeon, we'll see. But that's gonna be it for now. I think it's a pretty short video compared to my other ones, but there's not much to talk about, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow when I stream. Very nice, very nice. And you know what? I'm for the first time in a while, I'm swapping my art to the Soup Dumpling Ishmael. Damn. Give me I don't know, give me blue. Give me blue back. Nah, I don't know. I'll figure this out later. I don't know why I'm doing this on camera. I don't know why I'm doing this on camera. This is, you know, kind of a waste of time. Hold on, let me just change it back. Alright, well, I'll see you, yeah, I'll see you later. Short video, but again, there's not much to talk about. Oh wait, I forgot to give her a rating. I forgot to give her a rating. What would I give her? Again, it's very meta dependent. Like, instead of like effectiveness rating, like instead of effectiveness rating out of 10, I'll give her like out of 5, like how likely am I to switch? I'll say out of 10. Like out of 10, how likely am I to switch off of LCCB to use her? I'd say like maybe a 4 right now. Like we'll see how good it is, but maybe like a 4. Like I could see it happening, but I think I'm leaning towards unlikely. But we'll have to see. I'd say again, this is not like I'm not rating her out of 10 based on her effectiveness. Her kit looks very solid. Her kit looks very solid on paper. But it requires a lot of team play that is kind of hard to see just on paper sitting here without playing with it. And without knowing what enemies we're going to be facing and like all that other stuff I mentioned in the Twitter video, like how long the battles are, and stuff like that, how important Tremor is going to be, because again, to drop her, you need to drop half of the Tremor core, half of the Tremor engine in order to run her in the first place, which is a really high demand. So, I don't know. I'm not saying that her kit is bad. The 4 out of 10 is like, how likely would I be to drop, like, how likely would I be to drop her, to drop LCCB in favor of her? And I'd say probably I could see it happening. It's not unfeasible. It's not like she's bad enough that I would not see it happening at all, but I'd lean towards unlikely. So, you know, I guess if you want a number, that's what I'll give you. I'll give you a 4 out of 10. In terms of how meta relevant I think she'll be personally. Again, this is my opinion. I'm interested to hear your opinion. And if you want, you can tell me in the stream that I'm going to be doing tomorrow probably. But for now, peace. For real this time. Peace.